All right. So first, I just want to start by saying thank you to the whole DLI program and Fanny specifically, because it's really nice to have, well, everything except for my lectures all recorded before the school year even ends. And this is a summer session 2 class. So I'm Robert Barrett. I'm a PhD candidate in comparative literature, and I'm teaching an asynchronous class this summer. So I have taught asynchronously in the past, but it was quite different. This will be the first time I'm teaching a comparative literature course, and I designed and pitched this course to summer session with the support of my department. So this class is Comparative Literature 9, Introduction to Multiculturalism. And the description above is the description from the course catalog. So notice that it's repeatable. So with a repeatable class like this, it's a different theme each time. But it also satisfies 2 GE requirements, arts and humanities, and the multiculturalism requirement. So it must be an exploration of the concepts, thoughts, and theories, etc., related to multiculturalism, but approached in a different way every time. Because of this, the name changes for the class each time. So mine is Multicultural Science Fiction and Fantasy. And this makes things challenging for summer session because they tend to offer courses with a proven record. So even if we have had success with CL9 in previous summers, it would have been a different course according to summer session. So every time, we change the course name, we have to kind of prove to them again that it's a viable course. So it's really up to us to appeal to students, advertise our course, and get the necessary amount of students registered so the course can run. And this is why I chose an asynchronous course model for this summer specifically. I assume that many students won't be returning to the Irvine area until the fall, and that many would be in other time zones. So that makes an asynchronous class more appealing to them. And I had to really consider that through the whole process, trying to get students to register for this class. So as I said before, I have taught online before, asynchronous classes for summer session, but they were all composition courses. And although we do design our own courses to some degree in composition, we have a standard frame for the course with standardized assignments. So it's more like plugging in your content into a course shell rather than developing a course on your own. And that's always a 10-week course in the summer. So with that being said, my 2 main motivations were one, to appeal to students, obviously, and then the other was to streamline and simplify the Canvas course as much as possible. So in order to appeal to students, I assumed that science fiction and fantasy would draw a certain type of student interested in these genres. And I also assumed that many students would be taking this course specifically for the GE requirements that it fulfills. So most humanities students have no trouble filling these requirements because it just happens naturally. So I assumed I would get some comparative literature in our English students, but mostly non-humanities majors. And I assumed that the draw here was the genres of science fiction and fantasy. So I really wanted the students' work to be focused on just reading the fiction. In other words, I wanted to put an emphasis on the fun part rather than the theories. So I decided to give short lectures, usually about 10 minutes, in which I introduce sociocultural, historical, political, and theoretical contexts that I want them to think about while reading. And this allows them to enjoy the fiction and get the context from me. So it's an introductory level course, so I really don't want them to get bogged down in reading theoretical texts. Simplifying the course was really important to me because previously when I taught composition in the summer, my Canvas space has really been a mess. Not the student view, but from my instructor's view. So previously, the asynchronous summer course I would be teaching was a version of a class I taught in person during the academic year. And I really didn't know about sandboxes then. And so what I would just do was import my whole in-person course into the summer course. So then there would be like 2 different versions of every single activity, one for an in-person version of the class, one for an online version of the class. And it just would, every time I'd imported it, just got so kind of overblown. There was just so much content. So one thing that Fanny really helped me with was slimming down the content. There's actually nothing in my course that is not published, which is great. So actually the student view and the teacher view almost look exactly the same. And I also didn't really know about managing the course content through the files, and Fanny really helped me with that, going into files and erasing what was unnecessary and just getting rid of it. And now I know I can kind of have all of that in a sandbox if I need to, but in the actual live course, just really stick with what is necessary for that course. So as you can see, my modules are really simplified here. And thanks to Fanny's help, like I said, my teacher view and student view are basically the same. So I've standardized due dates so that every week assignments are due on Tuesday and Friday at 5 p.m. The only variation from that is the final exam. So I realized that especially when studying online and asynchronously, students need things to be standardized and they need it to be a routine, right? So as you can see, each week has 2 sections, one due Tuesday and one due Friday. They watch a lecture, do a reading, write a response. So it's just very standardized. Okay, and I was gonna go into my welcome page, but I will go ahead and stop there.